Battlefield 5, a game that for many was a disaster at launch, a game that sparked controversy, disappointed longtime fans, and struggled with its identity. But looking back, was it really that bad? Or did we simply fail to appreciate what it actually brought to the table? Over the years, Battlefield 5 has aged like a fine wine. The mechanics, the gunplay, the destruction, and even the live service content, they all contributed to what could have been one of the best Battlefield games ever. But the question is, was Battlefield 5 truly underrated? Let's dive into what went wrong, what was right, and why this game deserves a second look. Chapter 1: The rocket launch that doomed everything. When Battlefield 5 was announced in 2018, expectations were sky high. Battlefield 1 was a massive success, bringing World War I to life with stunning visuals and intense, large-scale battles. Fans were eager to see how DICE would follow up with the World War II setting. But from the very first trailer, things were south. The real trailer was met with a backlash. The inclusion of customizable soldiers with prosthetic limbs, bright face paints, and unrealistic gear led to heated debates. Many fans argued that DICE was prioritizing creative freedom over historical accuracy. Then came the infamous comment from EA Chief Design Officer: "If you don't like it, don't buy it." This only fueled the fire. Instead of addressing concerns, EA seemed dismissive of its core audience. The pre-release marketing was a disaster. Confusion over game modes, a staggered release schedule, and the absence of key World War II battles made fans question the game's direction. Let's be honest. We all know that at launch, Battlefield 5 struggled with content. No Battle of Normandy, no Battle for Stalingrad, no Eastern Front at all, and only a very limited number of maps. Features that were promised, like the highly anticipated ground operations, felt unfinished. No practice range, no PvE mode that was promised. Also, the game launched without Battle Royale mode, which came later as Firestorm, but failed to gain attraction. Many fans simply walked away. Battlefield 5 has lost the trust of its community. But here's the thing, beneath the PR disaster, there was actually a fantastic game. Chapter 2. The gameplay, one of the best in the franchise. Once you get past the launch issues, Battlefield 5 actually delivered some of the best gameplay in the entire series. The gunplay was tight and responsive. Battlefield 1 had more casual spray and pray style, but Battlefield 5 returned to skill-based gun mechanics. No more random bullet deviation, just pure aim and recoil control. The movement system was revolutionary for Battlefield, a big leap forward. We got vaulting, diving, sliding, and proning in the multiple directions that made game feel smooth and responsive. Basically it was omni-movement, even before Black Ops 6. Destruction and immersion. Battlefield 5 took destruction to another level. Buildings didn't just collapse, they crumbled realistically. Cover wasn't safe forever. The sound design was phenomenal, from the echoes of gunfire in urban environments to the distant thunder of artillery. It was very immersive. Basically they took Battlefield 1 like immersive atmosphere and scaled it up. Weather effects like blizzards and sandstorms changed the way battles played out. For me, it's one of the most immersive, casual shooter games. Squad play and teamwork. The game encouraged teamwork more than ever before. Revives weren't limited to medics only anymore, so squads stuck together more often. Squad mates now can revive each other. The downside of this is that it takes twice as long as medic revive, but at least you can do this now. Fortifications allowed players to build cover and defenses, adding a new strategic element. It's actually a cool addition. Now we can see similar stuff added into Delta Force, and it feels so organic. If the launch had focused on showcasing these features rather than controversial marketing, Battlefield 5 might have been a different story. Chapter 3. The content that could have been legendary. One of the biggest criticisms of Battlefield 5 was the lack of iconic World War II battles at launch. But over time, the game added Iwo Jima and Wake Island, bringing the Pacific War into the mix, and Solomon Islands. New weapons, vehicles, and factions, making gameplay more diverse. Well, to be fair, we got only 2 new factions and a couple of new maps. But to be fair, those were much more interesting. However, DICE abandoned Battlefield 5 too soon. With a bit more support, the game could have extended to the Eastern Front, giving us epic Soviet versus German battles, included more tank warfare maps, bringing back that classic Battlefield chaos, continuing its live service model, keeping the player base engaged. Instead, EA and DICE pulled the plug early to focus on Battlefield 2042, leaving Battlefield 5 as a game full of potential but ultimately unfinished. Chapter 4: Firestorm, the battle royale that never stood a chance. In 2019, EA finally released Firestorm, Battlefield 5's take on the battle royale. The idea was promising: destructible environments, vehicles and large-scale combat, squad-based play with Battlefield mechanics. But what went wrong? It came out too late, long after battle royale craze had peaked. It was locked behind a paywall, unlike free-to-play competitors like Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite, PUBG, etc., and updates were minimal. DICE had quickly abandoned it. Firestorm had potential, but EA's lack of commitment and communication killed it before it had a chance to shine. Chapter 5: The Redemption Arc. Why players are coming back. Years after its launch, Battlefield 5 is experiencing a resurgence. But why? Well, Battlefield 2042 failed. When new Battlefield launched in a broken state, many players returned to the Battlefield 5, realizing it was the last truly great Battlefield experience. It's also have an active player base. Despite no new content, players still organize events, play custom matches, and keep the game alive. And of course, nostalgia and re-evaluating. With time, people have started appreciating Battlefield 5's strengths, much like what happened with Battlefield 4 years after its launch. As you can see, history repeating itself. Final verdict. Was Battlefield 5 underrated? Absolutely. While the game deserved the criticism at launch, it was never as bad as people claimed. The gunplay, destruction, immersion, squad mechanics, game mechanics in general made it one of the best Battlefields in terms of gameplay. It's a shame that EA and DICE abandoned it too soon. If they had committed to a long-term roadmap, Battlefield 5 could have been an all-time classic. So, if you haven't played Battlefield 5 in a while, maybe it's time to give it another shot. You might just find that it was one of the best Battlefield games we never truly appreciated. But what do you think? Did you like Battlefield 5 at launch? Did you play a game recently? And what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. My name is Chell. Thank you for watching.